playoff hockey here at the Civic Center. Tonight's officials, the referee is Ron Hogarth. The linesmen are Jim Christensen and Ron Finn. Starting in goal for the Quebec Nordiques, Mario Gosselin, who played in one game in this series last year. He came in relief of Clint Malarchuk and surrendered 7 goals in the 9-4 clinching victory for the Whalers. He's playing in his 19th career Stanley Cup game. Mike Liut starts for the Whalers. You see his regular season numbers. Liut is playing in his 48th career Stanley Cup game. In his last 11 games against Quebec, he has a goals against him 2.59, so he has played very, very well against the Nordiques this year and certainly in last year's playoffs. The Whalers open up with Dean Evison at center, Sylvain Turgeon and Stu Gavin on the wings. Defensively, Dana Merzen and Ulf Samuelsson. With the puck, it's Michel Goulet. Out ahead for Lane Lambert. A late acquisition from the Rangers at the trading deadline. Sylvain Turgeon back around for Samuelsson. Here's Gavin. Turgeon can't get to the pass. He almost recovered it. Jeff Brown gets it away. And Goulet races back to center. He gives it to Dale Hunter. Back to Goulet, and Dana Merzen stayed right with him well. Gavin, who's expected to play against Goulet quite a bit in this series, particularly here in Hartford. Here's Turgeon. De Quenneville just off the bench. He can't one-hand it toward the net. And it's Basil McRae, the big left wing, to dump it in.
Rick, the first minute has absolutely been what it suggests, playoff hockey. That was a very good shift by both the Hunter line and the Everson line.
We've got some lineup changes to tell you about, and we'll run those down for you when we get the chance. As Kevin Dean almost ran into Ann Street there, trying to throw that check on Randy Mulder. Dave Babbage drives it on goal. Scott Kleinendorf is in the Hartford Whaler lineup tonight. Sylvain Cote is not suited up for this game, so both Babbage, who had been filling in for Kleinendorf, and Kleinendorf, who's been bothered with that bad left knee, he's got a sprained tendon, are skating tonight. Risto Siltanen, a Whaler for nearly 4 years, angles it out of his own zone. Montesour is paired with Kleinendorf. Robert Picard, who's played some of his best hockey this year against the Whalers, sends it in. Mike Huff with a backhand that's wide. Anton Stastny around for Huff. Looks for Peter. They score! Peter Stastny scores at the 158 mark. And we get Huff in there on Kleinendorf, who had taken a shot at Peter Stastny. Jerry, we expected a rough series, and certainly they haven't disappointed us right off the bat in that regard.
Well, let's not lose the fact, Rick, that it's 1-0 for the Nordiques. Young Huff made a tremendous pass to Stastny in front of the net, and as we said before the game, as they're still going at it here, Scott Kleinendorf, and who's he in there with? I don't think it's Peter Stastny. I think one of the defensemen came out to the point.
It's Mike Huff who made that play out of the corner to set up the goal. So we'll have the goal from Peter Stastny. Penalties also upcoming. It's 1-0 Quebec with not even 2 minutes gone.
After getting into a scrap with Scott Kleinendorf, after he made a tremendous play to set up Peter Stastny to give the Nordiques 1-goal lead. Let's look at it from a camera high up in the rafters here. Look at that terrific pass, and all Peter Stastny had to do was tip it past Liut. Mike Liut had no chance in it, as Randy Ladouceur is just a little late noticing where Peter Stastny is. And Rick, we said before the game, you have to know where the Stastnys, Goulet, and Ogrodniks are at all time. You look around, you have to find them. Looks like Hogarth is going to call these penalties even, as this took place after the goal, and I'm sure that Huff and Kleinendorf will get 5 minutes each.
Peter Stastny with a goal from Huff and Anton Stastny at 1:59, and you're looking at Nordique captain Peter Stastny, who had an up-and-down season, and with only 76 points, Jerry, that's far below his normal standards. He's never missed the 100-point plateau in his 6 previous years.
Well, he had the broken thumb, I guess it was, Rick, and missed a lot of action. But I was talking to the writers before the game, the Quebec writers. They're my favorite writers in the league. They're all very cordial, congenial type of people, and they said Peter Stastny in the last 10 days have really played up to the player he's supposed to be. And in fact, the writer told me, he said, Jerry, you'll see a little different Quebec team. They got spirit. They found some emotion in the last 10 days, and that always scares you with Quebec.
Here's Lane Lambert as there's a shot saved by Liut on the try by Dale Hunter. Coincident penalties to Huff and Kleinendorst as Gavin cuts into the zone, lays it in front. It's batted away by Hunter. Merzen can't get to it in time. Nordiques have the early lead. Gavin is in for checking. Normand Rochefort jolts him. Here's Turgeon trying to roll it in front, and Rochefort takes over. Liut sets it up for Merzen. Lambert in there in pursuit. It's sent off Gavin's stick, and rookie defenseman Stephen Finn makes the play to Goulet. Here's Hunter. He didn't get all of that shot. Merzen out to the point. It's kept in by Randy Mulder. The shot is blocked by McDermott. Dave Tippett on the off wing leaves it for McDermott. McDermott centers. Jarvis deflects it in front, and it's steered away by Gosselin. Jarvis was hindered on his drive toward the net by John O'Grodnik, and we've got a holding penalty upcoming against Quebec. 16:59 to go in the opening period, and the Nordiques have a 1-0 lead.
Penalty on the Nordiques. This all took place as they're going towards the penalty box, and it involves Ronnie Francis, Dave Tippett, Dougie Jarvis, three guys who really don't get into the fighting thing. As Grodnik, he's not crazy about himself, but it was really, here's Basma, Gray, and McDermott. This will be the headliner right here. But
here's your heavyweight bout. McDermott, who loves to go with that left.
Rick, I guess you could have guessed this, and there'll be a lot of knocks in the game of hockey, but let's get it out of the way. We'll pack a lunch, have a little break. We'll get this game over with sooner or later. It'll be a good series, but hey, listen, this is high intensity. This is what happens.
Jarvis and Francis are working on Hunter. You see O'Grodnik and Samuelson dancing. Moeller squared off with Tippett, and I find it hard to believe that Randy Moeller couldn't find an opponent a little more to his size than Dave Tippett, who has not incurred a major penalty in his NHL career.
Didn't stop Tippett from going at him. He didn't back down. He went right in there. See, the key to this situation is that there is a penalty to the Nordique player, and he had to go right to the box. And this started with Hunter, believe me. We were watching the result of the penalties. Look at Hunter. He's actually squawking right there at Dougie Jarvis. Grodnik, he's...
Jim Christensen stepped on a glove, and he goes down. Wow, we've played 3 minutes and 6 seconds here. And now Finn and Merzen are looking at each other. We'll be back with the result of this fracas right after this with the Nordiques leading.
We're going to have to get more living quarters over there. Everyone on the ice has gone to the penalty box. And don't forget now, Huff and Kleinendorst were already in there, so there should be 6 players from each team in the penalty box. Hunter, McRae, and O'Grodnik. I don't know how Jarvis and Francis got on at the same time. That's beyond me. Oh, I know what it was. Because they had a delayed penalty, and Ronnie Francis come off the bench for Liut. But as we see in there, yes, there's 2, 4, there's 7. Well, they had an extra player, so the Whalers get 6 guys going to the box. I don't know. Let's count this again. The Whalers had an extra attacker because of the late penalty. So they have 6 men in the penalty box. The Nordiques have 5 in the penalty box. And as I look at the referee, we'll be here for an hour figuring this thing out, because I don't know how he's going to figure it out.
And add Kleinendorst and Huff to that, so...
Yeah, they're already in there. They're taken care of. Don't forget now, the original penalty was on, I believe, I thought it was McRae, but it could have been McRae because he didn't go right to the penalty box.
I think it was O'Grodnik.
O'Grodnik, you're correct. And but he come out of the box to fight because he was on the ice later on. So he should be gone, or I don't know.
I've got Hunter for high sticking. 32.
Welcome to the playoffs, Ron Hogarth.
I think we just heard Hogarth say, I got Hunter for high sticking. First of all, we give O'Grodnik the holding penalty and Dougie Jarvis. Remember Dougie took the pass from McDermott, a good pass. He was held. So that's the original play. Now he's got a slashing, high sticking penalty. Excuse me, to Hunter. That's all we've heard so far. That's what started. It was Hunter and Francis over there, I believe. As we look at the little General Bergeron, Bergeron, I should say, and you kind of knew his team was going to come out like that, and you kind of knew that the Whalers were going to come out. It's, hey, when you get 20 guys in the ice that they know the importance, and when you mention Stanley Cup, this happens. But get it over with, and we'll have a terrific series.
Peter Stastny has the only goal. He scored at 159 from Huff and Anton Stastny. But these two teams know each other like a book. They played 8 games in the regular season. They played last season 8 in the regular season, 3 more in the playoffs. Of course, the Whalers scored the stunning 3-game sweep, and they upset the then Adams Division champion Nordiques. Here's a call on the penalties.
McDermott for fighting, 5 fighting. And I've got Samuelson for 3rd man.
Rick, as early as the Nordiques scored.
Game misconduct.
Who got the game misconduct?
Samuelson, 3rd man in. Well, we'll be back with further results on these penalty calls in just a moment. It's 1-0 Quebec.
It's a gun up on the Islanders, 1-0. Samuelson gets a game misconduct. You understand that.
The initial penalties in this game, Huff and Kleinendorf's got double minors.
Yeah.
4 minutes each. So just to update you on that as Peter Stastny and Joel Quenneville hear Ron Hogarth's decision.
When Mahler and Tippett were going at it, I think that's when Samuelson jumped in. Pretty sure.
That could have been it, because everyone was just grabbing anybody that was around, and pretty soon the players started going from one pile up to another, so it was very difficult to tell who was involved in what. But you see Ulf Samuelsson gets the 3rd man in.
This is a tough call for the Whalers. I'm not so sure it's correct or not. I did see Ulfie trying to help Tippett, but nevertheless, it's a tough blow for the Whalers, losing a guy like him, because you know what his energy's like during a game like this. He's an all-out guy.
And he's obviously very upset with only 3 minutes gone in the playoffs, and he's given the boot.
He did the right thing regardless. It's tough to, you want to be in the game, but when you see a big guy like Muller taking on a little guy like Tippett, someone's supposed to get in there.
Roughing and high stick. So she should all even out, boys.
Okay,
Make sure we've got the correct number.
2 minutes going up.
Pardon? No, I'm sorry. We had the original 2.
Imagine
so
that.
that's even
Should
now.
all even out
Nothing
until
is
Joel
going up
Quenneville
on the top.
reminded
It's
us
all
about
even.
the original
All right, we
penalty.
got 5 Whalers and 4. 5 and 5.
He still maintains it's all even, though.
2-2.
Even though Quebec got the original penalty, he's explaining to Joel now that he still thinks it's all even.
Well, that must be because
so he made the call.
Yeah. That's because the Whalers had an extra man on the ice, I guess. He's given everyone roughing penalties, so the 6th man got 2 minutes, and that'll equal the holding penalty, the original holding on Ogrodnik.
Quenneville brings the bad news toward Jack Evans.
That 1 extra Whaler penalty, the extra 2 minutes you gave on Samuelson, roughing and high sticking.
Okay, no roughing on Samuelson.
No roughing, okay.
Should be all even.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We should mention, too, now that these are neutral timekeepers. These guys, I think, are from the Rangers. Aren't they the Rangers time people?
The off-ice officials are from the New York Rangers.
Rodnick had the original one.
It's kind of a mix. There are a couple of Whaler people in that box and in the press box, and the goal judges certainly are gentlemen who work the Ranger games at Madison Square Garden.
Because we looked at the Whalers in the penalty box there. I mean, how would you ever guess that Dougie Jarvis and Dave Tippett would be in there in a skirmish like this?
29 is in here. He's got him down. I don't have him down.
You want him out of there?
29?
Yeah, Finn.
He really didn't have to call every guy in the ice for roughing, even though legally you might have did it. Give Muller and Tippett a penalty, and give McDermott and McRae a penalty, and forget it. This game, we've been halfway through the first period by now.
That, or you hand out a couple of misconducts to a couple of people that were looking to start the trouble, and then things hopefully begin to settle down.
It's amazing that they got Muller. He likes to get in trouble. They got Hunter. He loves it. They got McRae. He loves it. Who the Whalers got? Dougie Jarvis, Davey Tippett, Ronnie, Francis.
Better believe two gentlemen sitting next to each other on the Whalers player bench, number 22 and number 72. We're itching to get out there, but Shane Sherleth is suited up for this with Dave Semenko, and they will comprise the fourth line with Ray Ferraro, and you see them comparing notes.
Well, I think if you were to look at their hockey stick, there'd be some big hunks out of it by now.
There are the penalties. Quebec penalty number 21, Randy Muller, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 32, Dale Hunter, 2 minutes for high sticking, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 25, John Ogrodnik, 2 minutes for holding, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 17, Basil McRae, 5 minutes for fighting. Hartford penalties, number 15, Dave Tippett, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 27, Doug Jarvis, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 4, Dana Merson, 2 minutes for high sticking, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 10, Ron Francis, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 5, Wolf Samuelson, 2 minutes for high sticking, and the game misconduct, third man in.
This all started because Hunter and Merson. That's how it started, because they got the 2 minutes for high sticking, and everything joined in.
Ron Hogarth was not a popular man among the Nordiques in this building in Game 3 last year. You might recall he called back-to-back minor penalties on the Nordiques while he was falling down and lying in the corner. It gave the Whalers back-to-back power plays on which they scored, and they served to vault the team to a 9-4 series-clinching victory here. And now he is certainly not very popular among the home crowd.
For each side.
I think Ron Hogarth's
You have
role in
6
life really
2-minute
was never to
penalties
be
for each
popular.
side. That's right. But you want, I thought the Whalers
Not the case
had an
tonight.
additional 2 minutes.
He's certainly not popular tonight.
Okay.
That's not his job.
Number 29,
He has seen
Steve Finn,
fit to
2 minutes for roughing.
even things out. Add Finn to your
Quebec. Number 21,
shopping
Muller,
list of
2 minutes for
penalties.
roughing. Number 32, Hunter, 2 minutes for high sticking, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 25, Ogrodnik, 2 minutes for holding, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 29, Steve Finn, 2 minutes for roughing. And number 17, McRae, 5 for fighting. For Hartford, number 15, Dave Tippett, 2 for roughing. Jarvis, 2 for roughing. Merson, 2 for high sticking, 2 for roughing. Francis, 2 for roughing. McDermott, 5 for fighting. And Samuelson, 2 for high sticking, and a game misconduct, third man in. All the penalties at 3 minutes and 6 seconds.
That's a tough call, Rick. The game misconduct.
Who do you single out? Was it that obvious? I mean, everybody was grabbing everyone, but
I think when Muller and Tippett went at it, that's when Samuelson decided to go in.
well, you had Jarvis and Francis working on Hunter. You had two Nordiques working on a Whaler at one point. Now we've got penalties coming to Anton Stastny and Kevin Dineen. This is going to go on all night. This makes 56 minutes in penalties in the first 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Because we look down at the players' benches, and we can get a look at the players' benches, they're half empty. We only got, not including Weiss, the Whalers only got 6 guys left in the bench, and the Nordiques got 7. As Goulet comes out now to play with Peter Stastny and Alain Cote, and Jack Evans will send out the Dean Evison line with Sly Turgeon and Stu Gavin. But those benches are, wow.
Now, tell me this, Jerry. Coincident minor penalties. In many cases here, 2 minutes. What does that do? I mean, that doesn't serve any purpose. These guys are back out in 2 minutes and ready to start more. Here's Babbage with a shot that's wide. Gonzalez taps it away to Peter Stastny.
You might be right, Rick. The best thing what it did was to maybe give a couple of guys misconducts, because no one wants to spend 10 minutes in the box.
You can tell right off the bat who wants to battle and who wants to play hockey in this group here. Here's Lambert with a pass in front, knocked away by Babbage and out to center and into that sparsely populated Whaler bench.
You know, you take Dineen and Stastny right there. They got the sticks up or slashing each other a bit. I mean, they're supposed to get 10 minutes each. That would have